Good morning, everyone. Before I call the hearing, let me just check in with my court reporter. Harriet, are you there? Can you
I'm
hear me?
here. I'm here.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I will call our case. Now calling proceeding number 24R-0306E. It is December 16th, 2024 at 11 a.m. This is a fully remote public comment hearing in the matter of proposed amendments to the Commission's rules regulating electric utilities, which is found at 4 CCR 723-3. This public comment hearing was continued during the last public comment hearing held on October 29th, 2024, and was memorialized by decision number R24-0821-I, which was issued on November 13th, 2024. My name is Melody Mirbaba, and I am the administrative law judge who is assigned to this case. I want to welcome and thank everybody who has appeared here today. Before we get started on public comments, I want to go over some preliminary matters and some thoughts that I have about next steps in this case. So as preliminary matters, I just want to let everybody know that consistent with commission practice, we are webcasting this hearing. That includes the video and the audio, and we are recording the hearing, and we have a court reporter taking down everything that's being said. To make sure that we get a clear record, I want everybody to keep their microphones muted until it is your turn to speak. Before we get started on comments, I just want everybody to make sure that the name that is appearing on the Zoom screen is accurate. That way I'll be able to call on you should you decide you want to provide public comment. Everybody was required to register for this hearing, so your name should appear as you input it when you registered. When it is time to take comment, I'll ask for you to use Zoom's raise a hand feature to signal that you would like to provide comment. You can do that by clicking on the reactions button and then selecting the raise a hand option. And then I'll ask you to lower your hand if you no longer wish to speak or once you have completed making your comments. Keep your hands raised until you have been called upon to speak. If you are having trouble using the raise a hand feature, you can turn on your video to signal that you wish to speak, and I will call on you that way as well. Anybody who is participating by telephone will need to dial *9 to use the raise a hand feature and *6 to unmute yourself. In the written decision setting this hearing, I did outline all of the other ways to provide public comment, so I'm not going to get too detailed into that, but I'll just highlight that they can be submitted through the Commission's e-filing system in this proceeding, also through the Commission's website using the file or comment or complaint link. They can be submitted via email or via regular mail to the Commission. The Commission's email address and mailing address is on our website and should be readily available to everybody. If you decide you want to provide comments outside of this hearing using any option other than the e-filing system, please be sure to include the proceeding number, which is 24R-0306E. You can also leave a voicemail message at 303-869-3490. And again, leave the proceeding number so that we can get that into the record. In terms of what I'm anticipating now for next steps, first, I just want to thank everybody who filed public comments relating to the issues that I identified in decision number R24-0821-I. I found many of those comments very helpful. And in fact, based on some of those comments, I am considering taking administrative notice of some materials that were referenced or discussed in public comments. I'm not quite ready to identify those materials right now. I need to do some double and triple checking to confirm those materials are not already in the record and that they will be helpful. If I decide to take administrative notice of materials, I will do that in a detailed written decision, and I will make sure those materials are added to the record, and I will allow time for anybody to provide any comments that they would like to on those materials. I'm also considering identifying a few other items for additional public comment, and that have sort of come out of some of the comments that were filed in this last round. I'm not certain about that yet. I have to give that a little bit more thought. I'm not sure if it will be necessary. All of this is to say that this is not going to be our last public comment hearing in this case. I am going to continue this public comment hearing. And right now I've identified March 25th, 2025 at 11 a.m. as the public comment hearing date. I am certainly willing, if people have real issue with that date, you can let me know. Otherwise, that will be the date that we continue this hearing to. I am hopeful that that will be the last public comment hearing before I'm ready to issue a recommended decision. I can make no promises on that. I do believe it is important to get this right rather than to rush a decision in this case. So the decision that's going to continue the public comment hearing will most likely go out end of this week or early next week before the holiday. A decision taking administrative notice of documents and or identifying additional items for comment will most likely not go out until sometime in January. I do not anticipate being able to do everything I need to get that done before the holidays. So with all of that being said, I want to invite anybody who wishes to provide public comment to go ahead and use the raise a hand feature and to just signal that you would like to provide public comment. And you can also use that feature if you've got questions about the next steps I've just outlined or a concern about the March 25th being the next public comment date. I'll just note for the moment that nobody has used the raise the hand feature. So at this point, it doesn't appear that anybody has anything they'd like to add to the record, whether it be questions or public comment. However, I would like to just hold on and wait for a little bit to see if we've got people who are joining a little bit late, or just to give people additional time if you might be struggling with technical issues. I want to wait until at least 11:15. And I'm not going to go off the record. I'm just going to hang tight here and watch the screen. If anybody wants to provide comment. Harriet, please mute yourself.
Sorry, I didn't know it was unmuted.
Just mute yourself. Thank you. All right, let me call on the person identified on my screen as Parks Ferroso. And if you could state and spell your name and let us know if you are speaking on behalf of anybody.
Good morning. Thank you, Your Honor. Parks Barroso with Western Resource Advocates. I just given it a moment to see if there were public comments, but in response to your discussion on next steps in the public comment hearing tentatively to be scheduled for March, just wanted to see if you had any clarification on what we should be expecting in the forthcoming order, whether there will be additional questions for parties to respond to in written comment. I think just along those lines, for the sake of your and everyone else's time, I won't repeat the comments that Deborah previously submitted in written format, but just curious if there are any additional information on what to expect going into the new year. Thank you.
Sure, and I wish I could give you more specifics. The last comment was filed on Friday, And so I had mostly today to look at those. And it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough time for me to have something a little bit more solid to outline for all of you. I can tell you that I have a lot of ideas right now, and I really need to think them through before I can announce them publicly and narrow things down. There's, any number of possibilities. So this is one of the reasons why I want to set it for late March, so that there is enough time. And I suppose maybe I should just ask everyone, if I identify other additional items, and I can't say how many those would be or exactly what those would be, what time frame would be helpful for everybody to provide public comments. The reason I was aiming for late March was I was hoping that that would give everybody enough time prior to the hearing. And I didn't want to be in a position I was in this round where I got comments really last minute and had very little time to really consider them thoroughly. If I issued a decision by mid to late January, would that be enough time for participants to submit comments by the end of March, before the public comment hearing in March?
Again, this is Parks President with WRA. I'll answer since I'm the only one with my camera on, but Your Honor, that hearing that there'd be roughly 2 months from the time of a decision being issued to the public comment hearing, and probably an earlier written comment deadline somewhere in there, that certainly feels like sufficient time from WRA's perspective, and appreciate the additional transparency that you're able to offer to the extent that there's still a few unknowns.
Yeah, and I didn't want to identify specifics since I'm not sure, and I might end up not doing any of that. I might end up being very, very limited. It may just be I'm taking administrative notice of 1 or 2 documents, that nobody really cares or wants to comment on. I just don't know exactly what that's going to look like. But I get, to me, this just sort of highlights how the public comment process really works. It helps, at least for me as a judge, look at things more broadly and come up with better solutions that hopefully will end up in a result that will accomplish the mission and the goals that the commission had in mind, and that, participants are satisfied with. For me, it's very important that I give everybody the opportunity to provide comments, because those comments can be incredibly helpful for me. And again, I will do my best to get it out as quickly as possible in January so that everybody has ample time. Does that answer your question? I think that's the best I can do. I will say this, I'm not going to ask anybody to comment again on anything that we've already addressed. I don't anticipate kind of going backwards. I don't expect anybody to refile comments they've already submitted. I have read everything that has been filed, and I will reread most likely everything at least 1 or 2 more times before this is said and done. So I am paying very close attention to what everybody is saying.
That did answer our question. Thank you so much.
Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to either provide comments or that might have questions or concerns that you want to raise? If so, use the raise a hand feature or turn on your video camera. I think we had a couple of people join us a little bit late. So I will just briefly restate some of the things that I've already outlined for everyone in case you would like to raise an issue or concern. My plan at this point is to continue this public comment hearing to March 25th at 11 a.m. It will be fully remote. One of the primary reasons I'm going to do that is because I am considering taking administrative notice of some materials that were referenced or discussed in the recent round of public comments. And then I'm also considering identifying a couple of other issues for additional public comment. I am not certain on any of this yet. I need more time to consider it. A written decision on those items will go out in January. I will issue a written decision in the next week, continuing this hearing to March 25th. So if those of us that just joined us late, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments that you'd like to provide, please signal that by using the raise a hand feature or turn on your video. I'll just note for the record that nobody has indicated that they would like to provide comments or have raised concerns or questions about what I've laid out for next steps. But we did have a couple people join a little bit late. So what I'd like to do is just continue to wait, hold this hearing open for a few more minutes, at least until about 11:20. And if nobody else has joined us and nobody has indicated they have questions or would like to provide comment, then we will adjourn our hearing and it will be officially continued to March 25th. So I am just gonna sit and wait. We're not gonna take a recess for these next few minutes, and I'm just gonna be watching the screen here. Okay, I'll just note that it is now 11:20 and we've held the hearing open to see if anybody else wanted to provide public comment. We haven't had any additional individuals or parties, participants join us since I last asked for public comments a few minutes ago. So I'll ask one more time. This time I'm not going to wait another 5 minutes, but if anybody would like to provide public comment before we adjourn our hearing, please let me know now by using raise a hand or turning on your camera. All right, nobody has indicated they would like to provide public comments, so that will bring this hearing to a close. As I've already noted, this public comment hearing is continued to March 25th, 2025 at 11 a.m. We will hold it in the same manner as we did for today's hearing using Zoom. A decision memorializing that will be issued within the next week. Thank you all again for appearing, and I really do appreciate all the public comments that have been filed to date, and I want to continue to encourage all of you to add anything more you want to the record once you've seen my decision, or if you identify other issues that have not already been addressed. And so with that, our hearing will be adjourned and continued to March 25th, 2025. Thank you all for appearing.